Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel and on Twitter. We're streaming this to both, so fingers crossed if you're watching and you're enjoying. We had a great weekend's action. Constitution Hill in the Fighting Fifth, Milos in the Coral Gold Cup, and some really nice horses at Newbury across 2 days there, Friday and Saturday. We're back with another review video. We do these weekly now. We're doing it live today. We usually record the video and post on a Sunday night or a Monday, but today, timing constraints for all of us, and we're all going for it live today. So fingers crossed if you're tuning in. That's fantastic. If you missed parts of it, or if you missed the start of it, you can watch this as a post-recorded video on YouTube afterwards. I'm joined by the usual suspects because Harry has just dropped in after some microphone issues. Harry, you're finally in. Hopefully you can hear us. I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Finally. It's
fantastic. Harry, you were there Saturday at Newbury and you watched the action on Friday as well, and the Constitution Hill race. It was a good weekend's action after the disappointments we had at Ascot and Haydock the week before.
It was, and I think it's worth noting, lads, and to those that are listening as well, it's these horses that get us involved with the sport, why we love the sport, why we go to watch it. And listen, that performance yesterday by Constitution Hill, I know it's raised a few eyebrows to everyone that I thought watched it. And there was quite a few people saying this horse probably isn't the next best thing. He might be the next best thing, but it's good to talk about these things. And this is the reason why we love the sport.
Yeah, he's well. If he's not one to watch yet, I don't know what horse is. Lee, yourself, you were at Newcastle, so you're able to see who came and who watched Constitution Hill. And you said that this horse just brings people to the races, and I've heard that from a number of people. It's just that fact that you get to see Constitution Hill, especially up north at Newcastle, where you probably won't get to see that very often. It's just attracted people, and it was a great atmosphere to be at.
Yeah, it was cracking day, Ash. Like I say, it brings a lot of people to the races. There was a lot more people there than I would said normally go. To be honest, I'm not sure of the numbers, but look, there was a great crowd. It was a good buzz, especially around the race. I actually watched it with next to JP McManus, and he was just shaking his head. He laughed after the race. He looked at everyone around. He was just shaking his head, thinking, "What have I just went against?" There's nothing you can do with that type of horse. He is a freak. Look, he's been winning these races. I think it was 14 length. 12 length in the Tolworth, 22 length in the Supreme, and now another 12 length in the Fighting Fifth. Look, you're beating Epatont, who's a Grade 1 winner, a multiple Grade 1 winner. You've given her the allowance as well. Look, she didn't perform to her best, I don't think. She hit 3 out. That was kind of party over. She would have been maybe 2 or 3 lengths closer, if not for hitting that fence. But look, that was it, really. That's the closest she could have got.
Constitution Hill wasn't even extended.
So, no, I know, but look, she would have been, I'm just saying, a couple of lengths closer if she hadn't hit 3 out. And look, 12 length was it was a demolition job. He actually, I watched the race back a couple of times last night. You almost danced to 3 out. It was kind of a side skip, and then that was it. Just away. And hurdled great. We talked about it last week on the video. Them great hurdlers like a Binocular, a Bouvier, how slick they are over the hurdles, skimming them, and he done everything right. Look, it was a great job.
We've seamlessly transferred into Constitution Hill there, Harry. It's the horse that people can't stop talking about. I stood next to Simon Milham, who writes for PA Racing and the CEO of Pressbox Limited. Really good journalist. And we were stood there watching the race, and he was saying to me, God, I have a sneaky suspicion that Epatont's going to win this race. And I can't lie to you. I'm happy to share this with the world. Coming around the bend, I thought for about 10 seconds, I was like, Jesus, Epatont's going too well. I think she's going to collar him. And then he sort of just went into it. Obviously, it coincided the same time that Epatont went flat-footed over the foot 3 out and then just spread on. But even if Epatont had jumped out perfectly, Constitution Hill would have won that race, Harry. There was a small scare, but he's just then shown us why he's rated this highly and why he should be talked about going forward. He's just a superb horse to watch.
It's just the turn of foot he has, and he just looks to be going a half gear everywhere he goes. It's scary. And it's one of those things that these top class hurdlers they possess. Honeysuckle possesses. She can go at such a quick speed for such a long way, and then she's got a kick. Honeysuckle's the Constitution Hill looks the exact same. Can travel, can make the running now. I thought that was very brave from Nico de Boinville, and it just shows how versatile this horse really is. And listen, it's going to be one hell of a matchup. And it was quite interesting. I put a poll out yesterday on Twitter, and
oh dear,
just a genuine open question: is Constitution Hill the best horse we've ever seen? And all of the comments were people saying no. Now I had over 1,000 votes on that, and the majority said yes. So
it was a split. It was 60-40, wasn't it? Something around that.
Well, no, it closed up at 55-45. So, but the majority, and I find it quite interesting that why were people saying no and then not replying yes?
I was just going to say so, but like I did see someone comment saying hurdler, so maybe it's the best hurdler. But you have to go a long way to then look. Istabrack won 3. Honeysuckle's won 2. He hasn't won any yet. That's the reason. Obviously, come March, look, you have to go off a performance as well. Look, the Supreme performance was one of the best performances we've seen for a while.
Yeah,
it's just whether then you can back it up with then multiple champion hurdles and stuff like that, isn't it?
I don't want to rain on the parade at all. I absolutely love this horse, and he has the potential.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to. I think I have nothing to say about the performance apart from it was very good. The only thing I said about is that little 5 seconds around the bend. And I'll come on to that a little bit more as what I want to talk about there. But this debate about is he the best horse we've ever seen? Like, that's something I just want to calm down on, lads. It's a different kettle of fish. Like Lee said, it's a different kettle of fish with hurdlers, chasers, people bringing into the conversation Corto Star, Arkle, Red Rum and stuff. Just let's not even have the conversation, all right? It doesn't even need to have the conversation of why he's not that level or why he is that level. Let's just not have the conversation, okay? He's run 4 times over hurdles, Supreme in a fighting fifth, 2 grade 1s. That is outstanding. The times there back it up as well. The time form ratings, the rating he's got given 175 for a hurdler who's 5 years old and has had 4 starts is genuinely incredible. But let's just calm down on the debate of is he the best horse we've ever seen? Just enjoy him, lads. Okay, this is a meme. Is it Rio Ferdinand meme about Messi and Ronaldo? Who's better? Just enjoy it, lads. Just enjoy it all. All right. Okay, he's this good, and just enjoy. If we start comparing him to these legend chasers, Denman. I've wrote a whole piece about Denman for the week, and now I'm convinced he's the best ever horse we've seen. You know, like it happens. You get that sort of wave of feeling, and you just can't help type out on Twitter saying he is the best we've ever seen. He may be the best you've seen in your life. He's probably the best I've seen in real life.
This is what I was going to say, Ash. In my experience of going racing and stuff, I've not been going racing for years and years and years, but he is the way he went up the hill in the Supreme and watching that yesterday. That was it. It put not only hairs on the back. They made them stand up. Thinking, oh God. For me personally, he's the best I've ever seen. But for other people, it might be different. And that was the point I was kind of trying to say. Like for people with my experiences or people who've watched it for 50 years. Yeah,
that's the thing. There's people on Twitter putting up things saying it's the best horse I've ever seen in my lifetime or I've ever seen in real life. Maybe no issue with that at all. There's completely no issue, lads. And you can write whatever you want. But it's just about sort of just taking a larger perspective on things and just enjoy him while he's there.
Maybe say best performance, not best horse.
Yeah, it's a really difficult conversation to have, an argument to have, apart from the fact that he's just incredible and let's just see what he can do this season.
One thing with Epperton, I went into the free raid ring with I was standing next to JP again and someone shouted out, surely you send Epperton to the mare's hurdle now, and he says, well, I don't know, and he says, well, how are you going to beat that? And he says that is true. So he just nodded and laughed, but I think he knows himself. He's in an uphill battle if he went to the Champion Hill. To be fair, your lad, not so sleepy. I know you're a big fan.
He had a great race.
He ran a good race, and he was pulling the nut off him at one point. And look, he ran a good race to get so close to Epatron, I thought.
Yeah. The one thing I want to point out here, because we do have other horses to talk about, that it's not just Constitution Hill's world, is the sort of bit round the bend there where I thought for a couple seconds, hang on a second, let's just calm down, lads. That to me, like, shows that I think he can do quite a lot more than just this 2-mile champion hurdling. I'd love to see him. The race, obviously, I'm really looking forward to this year is whenever he runs. You know, Christmas hurdle looks like next, and then onwards to March. I'd be surprised if he runs an island in between there. I really want to see him, and I'd love to see him in the Aintree hurdle over 2.5. I just want to see what he does. I really want to see him in the Coral hurdle over 2.5, just to see how he takes that in. And I'm sure he'd take it with flying colours.
It definitely stays.
He take it with flying colours. It's what Nicky said about Epatron. About John Bon. Get 2.5 standing on his head. I think if you ask the same question to Nicky Henderson there, he'd probably say and give you the same quote about Constitution Hill. And I remember going back to a Supreme win, and I was stood in the parade ring. Michael Buckley was getting interviewed by Racing TV, and he was getting interviewed by the journalist. And there was a quote that he said, and I failed to find it now, but he said that this horse could go and do what the legends have done, go and win a champion hurdle, and then he even said the Gold Cup in his sort of quotes and stuff like that to say, where can we go with this? Like, can we go to the Gold Cup in years to come? Can he do that route? And like, but by sort of that run there, you got glimmers of it. If he went to the Aintree hurdle, you get a bit more of a taster for it. I'm not saying Gold Cup horse in the making, because
Nico said after the race, and he was getting interviewed. Now I was listening in. He said he is just a chaser in the making.
Yeah.
He said it after the Supreme as well. They keep highlighting in this chasing. It's hard because the same with Bouvedere. Like, look, you go and win a champion hurdle, you got to come back and try again. And then so if he wins 2, then you're going to go for a 3rd kind of thing. So it's just how he goes on from the champion hurdle.
The thing is with Bouvedere and Constitution Hill, we really do need to move on here, but you brought up my favourite horse ever, so I have to talk about it. Is Bouvidere's action. He's a hurdler all over. His action he keeps low, he just gets his legs over and his legs power into the ground. He's such a hurdler, he takes it in his stride. Constitution Hill's arc is incredible over his hurdles. His action is incredible. It's one that you'd see of a chaser. So like this horse, like it's incredible we're talking about this, about a horse who's 5 and had 4 runs, but he could go on and do the world's at his feet currently, and he could go on and do this.
Actually, just to touch on what Lee mentioned at the start about the attendance at Newcastle, saying it was really busy. Michael Cooper, good evening. He is on YouTube. He's left us a comment already saying it was Newcastle's largest ever attendance day. So
love that.
Shows how well respected Constitution Hill is respected.
I can show it on the screen. So I'm doing this the first time ever.
Look at that! Look, so after 4 races, we've touched on those points, and it is frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is frightening. I want to move on to another Nicky Henderson horse, Jet Powered. Now, this was another horse that a lot of people were very impressed by. Harry, I'll keep with you. He won the first race on the Friday of the Newbury Coral Gold Cup meeting. How impressed were you by this horse who's having his first start from Nicky? He's got that price tag about him, and he's won really well.
He has won well, but has my thoughts about Supreme, has my thoughts changed about the Supreme? No. I think Fasal Vega would swallow him, throw him back out, and
no
run around
tattoo
him.
with Jet Powered, no.
I just don't get me wrong, it looked impressive, but I mean, I think the second horse going up in a trip is the one to take, I thought, out of that race, and especially the third as well. I know Ash, you will go on to mention about that horse, but listen, Jet Powered, you can't. A massive price tag. John Bond's gone to the race. Shishkin's gone to the race. Nicky likes to target that race in particular. So you can see why Jet Powered's fancied for one of the races. But then again, I was mentioning to Ash on Saturday, you had Constitution Hill tucked up in bed at this time last year when John Bond was out winning this race. Now, if he has another one of those, God only knows what could be happening in Lambourne, but it could be frightening. But I think ITAP Blue and Half Dozen were the ones to take out of the race, put them over a trip, and I think they could be potentially really nice horses.
Yeah, I'll come on to them in a second, but I'll go to you, Lee, again. This is a horse that obviously I saw it win in the stands, and you could see the pre-written tweets of Jet Powered is an aeroplane, is a monster, is a rocket. Like I thought he was good, but I felt like I was in the minority about this. Like I thought it was a good performance, but I wasn't like my socks were firmly on my feet after he come back into the parade ring. Like he was good, but I wasn't like impressively taken away. He didn't have that. I know it was only a maiden hurdle or whatever it was, and he's having his first run for Nicky over hurdles on the racetrack, and it's good to see that he can do that level. And he never came off the bridle, but he just didn't. I don't know what it was. I couldn't get my sort of finger on it as why I wasn't so impressed. What did you take away from this horse?
Look, I thought it was impressive, but I actually had a little nibble at 25, so the Ballymore point to point. I actually think it powered well to the line.
Look, did you have that after the race or before the race?
Before 25s.
So he's 14s now and 7s for the Supreme.
Yeah, I just think I took a different angle of I just thought it would stay like the look at point to point. Obviously, you can go the 2 miles, but I don't know. I just got the vibes. I heard people speaking about it and connections of the owners on about how he'll stay. So I just thought I'll take a nibble at 25s. Look, he ran well to the line. I don't know. I was yet to check, but was that the race that Shishkin won at Newbury on his?
Shishkin fell in this.
In that race.
Yeah, so Shishkin fell, and then John Bond went the next year and won. Now yes. I am not sure on that. I'm not because he come back. I remember Shishkin come back to Newbury and then won the time after, but I didn't know if that was that race or not. But obviously,
Shishkin fell at the second.
Yeah. So look, I was impressed. I just think it will maybe get scared off by Facile Vega. Depends on what the horses do, and maybe they'll step it up to the Ballymore. And look, it was great for first time out. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's fine for first time out. It didn't knock the socks off, and I like that Ballymore angle there. Like stepping up in trip, I'd like to see him go over a bit of a trip now because he didn't show me that injection of pace, and he sort of maybe just galloped his rivals into submission there. The horse I do want to talk about, as Harry said there, half dozen in third. I had a small bob on each way because he looked really nice in the parade ring. And I got the quote from Nichols here because I asked him about it. He's a nightmare to train. He had a bad pelvic injury which needed surgery. He'll make a good chaser. He's improved a lot, and the best thing he's done today was relax. I think that's because he was very keen at Chepstow beforehand. So half dozen is one to sort of keep on your trackers to see how he goes.
Is that he will make a chaser.
He loves it.
Favorite quote.
He loves it. He said he's like a typical sort of he'd make a 3 mile chaser. Just see where he goes over a bit of a trip over hurdles and see what happens potentially after that. If you do have any questions, by the way, do get them in on YouTube and stuff. We can put them up on the board. Go on.
I was just going to say maybe what I seen a race suiting Jet Powered be that Sydney Banks race. I think it's at Huntingdon. Over 2 mile, 3.5 or so. Nicky Henderson's used it before, and I see that race suiting him well before the festival.
Yeah, I can't remember if he said where he's going to go next. I don't think he did, so we'll keep our eyes open for that. A quick mention to obviously the highlight race of the meeting, why it's called the Coral Gold Cup meeting. Milos won. Obviously, it's not much to take from. There's not too much you can take in terms of where to go for the season because it's these handicaps, not like when you're analysing a novice race or a race for the sort of championship races. But Milos won. The quote I took away from it was, one of the journalists asked, is he a national horse, Dan? And Dan Skelton replied, 100% yes. We won't be in a rush to run him, but we could see him over that. Not because they're being precious, it's because he's had a hard race. Harry, quickly, national horse, have you given it any thought, or just what do you make of the performance?
We were in the parade ring in the winners' enclosure when Dan Skelton was giving the interviews, and he said how much he'd come on for the banger run, and that was what I took out of that interview, was the fact that I think there's even more to come from this horse. Did it really nicely. Remastered came there with every chance. Obviously, we fell last year when coming with another good chance, but it just didn't look like he wanted to get past. He had that many chances to go past. I know Harry Skelton's picked up a, I want to say, a couple of day ban for exceeding the.
Now here's
the
one. While you're here, I counted it, and someone actually counted on Twitter. He used the whip 11 times. Now in these new rules that are going to come into play February now, I want to say next year, the race would go under question of whether he'd be disqualified. Like obviously it's a different kettle of fish because he knows he's not going to get disqualified. He can do that, but the 11 whips there was used, and that's not really good with these new rules coming in, Harry.
Well, he's won by half a length. So if that's the case, now you're saying, well, that if I was David Noonan and David Pipe, I'd be going, well, I've lost by half a length here because the other jockey Harry Skelton has exceeded the whip rules. Now, I thought I was trackside during the race, and I heard a noise from one. It was either one of the first four, and I didn't like the noise. I thought there was definitely something wrong with one of the horses. I'll have to double check with the video that I did film. We'll have to double check. But going back onto the winner, I think there's going to be even more. He's made a mockery of 146 because there are no mugs in behind. The thing is, with a national, you're going to need a well handicapped horse. Will this then kind of find him out? I'm not too sure, but you can't not be impressed because there are no mugs in behind.
I'd be surprised if he gets given more than, I'd say £7. £7 would be strict. I'd maybe say like swing around that. If you got given that for that run, that wouldn't be too bad. Looking towards potentially a national. Lee, the connections and the sights in the parade ring and the winners' enclosure afterwards were insane. Harry, you were there. This was really sort of just good to see for the Skelton team. There was hugs, kisses. Everyone was excited. They obviously think quite a lot of this horse. They bought him for. God, don't! I'm not even going to say a price tag, so I don't even know. They bought him, they've trained him up, they rang him at Bangor, and he's gone on and done this. It's nice to see for this horse. And what would you think of his national prospects, just very quickly?
Yeah, I think £7 maybe is be fair. I wouldn't say any more than that though. I was on remastered, so I was gutted, but I was with Harry. I don't know if the horse wanted to go by in the end. Maybe he's had a chance. He come to the last and jumped well, and could have maybe kicked on if it wanted to. But I was waiting on it for a turn, to be honest. Remastered. I was on last horse standing, thanks to Harry. I played that one for the first time.
It's good.
It's great. Managed to get to the last leg on remastered. And
well, the thing is, just on that, if you'd have won anyway, I think the winners shared about £7 between them. I think there was about.
Is that it?
Yeah, there was about 200 winners that went on to the favourites.
No way.
Keep it. You can have it.
Save it for next week. So no, it is a good game. It is a good game, that is.
Yeah, we'll move on. I just want to mention something. I've got my little race card here. The one and only race that I wrote stuff in after they came into the parade ring, after they ran a Jet Powers race. I wrote that half dozen came back in with his head held high, ears were pricked. That's something I like to see when a horse comes back in because it shows they haven't really sort of just done too much. And I was speaking to Rory Delagi, who gave me that sort of little tip there. When horses come in, their heads held high. I think he saw the same about Brave Man's Game when he won at Newbury. Not saying half dozen's Brave Man's Game, but just something to look at for nice horses. Jet Powered had a nice blow. I thought was he'd had a good race under strong restraint early on, and Mount South travelled very well early for under Robbie Dunn for Ian Williams. Anyway, moving on, McFabulous won for Paul Nicholls in the free runner. Novice Chaser John Frankham. He beat Time Hill, the 7-4 on favourite. I backed him, Harry. You stood next to me while I gave it the oi oi shout. He never came off the bridle, did Harry Cobden. Another mustard ride, and I was really taken by this performance. What did you make of it?
I was, and it sickened me because we were going through the race card, and I don't know whether you can see that. Whether you can see that there on the
screen. I remember this. So I have to tell this story. He walked up the parade ring and he ticked Time Hill, and he had two words written behind the other horses of McFabulous and Mortlack. I think McFabulous was does he stay? Trip. And the other one was quality for Mortlack. Ruthless.
Yeah. So it was Time Hill had all the ticks in the box for me. I thought I just was so disappointed with the way he jumped. Don't get me wrong, McFabulous was taking lengths out of him. And again, Harry Cobden, Paul Nicholls, that partnership this year is just better than ever. I mean, they could have had a treble. They could have had so many winners yesterday. Griever Tana, I thought, was unlucky.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll come on to that because that was quite a funny
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
Nash can mention. But McFabulous, going back to this horse, I didn't think he'd stay, and he looked like he'd get 3 miles standing on his head if that was the first time you ever seen him jump. I thought it was a super round of jumping. Listen, you could take prices, quotes for the Cheltenham Festival. You're going to kill me now. I forgot the name of the race.
Brown Advisory.
I get mixed up between that and the tournaments. They just make different names every year. But McFabulous, good performance on the round. I think Time Hill was a little bit underwhelming and more like ability. So just a little bit iffy with me, Ash.
Yeah, 16-1, Lee, for the Brown Advisory. I was quite sort of tempted by that price because I thought he was really nice. There was no sort of early pace. He had to be smart over his early fences when there was no pace there. And when it quickened up, he jumped really well. It was a nice performance and one to definitely keep an eye on.
I thought it was a cracking performance, but I never seen it coming, to be honest. I was all over Time Hill. I thought he would have definitely won, and I mean, Mortlack was just behind him. The winner was really impressive. Jumped great and come home on the bridle, really. Like Harry says, the combination Cobden and Nichols at the minute is just flying, and I wouldn't be backing him for Cheltenham, that's for sure. I don't know if he's a Cheltenham horse, but I also know that Nichols doesn't always like to send his horses there, likes to keep them fresh for injury and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be taking that price. That's a definite.
Yeah, Harry Cobden after the race, he jumped well. I thought Time Hill underperformed a little bit, but we just jumped better than him. We jumped quicker, slicker, and better. At the moment, he is probably looking like our best novice chaser this year. So he's obviously thought off quite highly in the yards. I'm pretty sure he's in Nichols' stable. There's like the front sort of 8 or 9 boxes. Any photo you see of Corto Star and Denman, it's those boxes. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that's sort of in his top stable there. He's in there, so they obviously think a lot of him. A horse I didn't see, Lee, I didn't watch the race. I can't lie to you, I haven't. I've been very pressed for time. I still haven't watched this race. Was L'Empresse. He won the rehearsal chase in Newcastle, carrying top weight. I can't lie to you, I wouldn't have backed him with your money, Lee, let alone mine. What do you make of L'Empresse and his chance for the Gold Cup? He's 7-1 now.
Again, cracking. I thought Charlie Deutsch looked after the horse as well. After the line, he bolted up as well. It come to the line, he didn't get stuck into him. He didn't crack him. He didn't have to do nothing. 12 stone. I think the second into overdrive was off 10 stone 2. It was a mighty performance, I thought, and I think that's the best he's probably jumped. Obviously, sometimes he goes out one way or the other. We've seen it in the past that he's had a couple of iffy runs, but still got the job done. But I thought that was his best performance, and it's not one that I've homed in on for the Gold Cup. But I would definitely be having a saver on him. If he's in that sort of form, I think he'll go well and he'll jump well. He definitely needs a bit of juice, though. We had plenty of rain here, and the conditions were ideal, really. But if it come up a good ground Gold Cup, maybe then you'll find
the timings for that race were quite quick, saying it was good soft ground. It was only slow by 6 seconds.
But you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want it a quick ground cup time.
You wouldn't have wanted Newbury yesterday, I don't think.
That was rather quick.
But I thought 12 stone, and like you mentioned, into overdrive, that looked like a plot of anything.
10-2, yeah.
He was on a 5-timer as well, So
precisely. They'd have had that wound up, and Venetia's only started getting going, so there could be any more improvement in this thing. So I thought there's a massive performance.
And like we've seen a few at the weekend, so we'll maybe get on to First Street as well. 12 stone, these weight carrying performances and handicaps. Look, I think it's good for the game to take a chance in these type of races and show what you can do carrying the weight as well.
Yeah, as you can see, comment there, Racing Tees, who supply us with the Only Fools Love Horses merch, and as Lee's referenced there, fantastic, and a few giveaways and stuff. He thinks the lad Racing Tees thinks that L'Empresse fits right into that Gold Cup picture after that weight carrying performance. It was very good. I was quite impressed there, just looking over the results to see Happy Go Lucky in fourth. Because the horse I thought that would need the run, he's finished 4 lengths off in third, finished third, 4 lengths off in third. And I thought he did well at the finish there, so he could be one to come on for the run. And you could see him in maybe like a 3 mile 2 handicap chase around Cheltenham, something like that. But L'Impresse definitely into the Gold Cup picture there. The final horse we're going to be taking a close look at under the microscope, Luccia for the Mares Novice at Newbury, the listed race, and is now the Mares Novice hurdle favourite at the Cheltenham Festival. Harry, you backed him. You backed her. You napped her, and you were very happy when she won. Obviously, it's I don't have any news about Rosie Redrun. She went off to the vet's hospital when she fell. Fingers crossed for connections that she's okay. But Luccia won it fairly readily and nice performance.
No, I echo everything you said regarding Rosie Redrum, Ash, firstly, but Luccia was mightily impressive and it was a really good performance. We know the money came for the skeleton horse, and when I say it came, it really did come. 17,
yeah, it did.
17-2 into 9-2 within the space of it was money. They couldn't get rid of poetic music in the market. They were trying to push that out. But Luccia did what an evens favourite should be doing and won as she liked. She jumped really well, I thought, on hurdling debut. On ground, I thought she may not take the best of liking to, but she seemed to enjoy herself. She won with her head in her chest. And Nikki Henderson said, yeah, she's smart. So I think this could be a nice little novice hurdle. Obviously, listed company straight away, first time out. Is quite interesting, and there was some course and distance winners in behind. Carroll's Pass, obviously beat She's a Saint the last time they met. They've reversed form, but no, Luccia was mightily impressive for Henderson, who he's really getting going now.
Yeah, it wouldn't trouble me at 9-2 for the Mares Novice just yet, but I thought the horse in behind, She's a Saint, ran a cracker. As you said, I was actually looking at the exchanges, so I thought it was quite a hot race in the betting. There was plenty of money for the skeleton runner, plenty of money for Luccia, and they couldn't give away poetic music in the market. I think the two in behind definitely wants to watch poetic music. I think is quite highly thought of in the Fergal yard, and she ran a good race, just faded late on, and She's a Saint ran an absolute cracker there, Lee. But Luccia wouldn't trouble me at 9-2 for the Mares Novice, but it was a good performance nonetheless. And as Harry said, listed company on ground that was uncertain, so you can't really knock her too much.
Yeah, that's what kind of threw me. I actually backed her for the bumper where Queen's Gamble bolted in. She got took out of there, and she travelled like a dream here. Won really well, but that's short for the Mares race, I think. Look, you've got the likes of Willie Mullins horses. They'll come out. She'll not go massive. She'll not go much short, I would have said, against the likes of them. But look, great starting point, and like I say, travelled really well.
Yeah, travelled really well there. I need to get up on my board here. Just one more horse needs to talk about. Champ, that one, the long distance hurdle. Very nice performance. You want to catch this horse fresh. And interestingly, John Joe Neal Jr. said to me after the race that because this horse has had such a long summer off, he still could be coming in fresh for the next day in the long walk. So he still could be a fresh horse and still probably will be a fresh horse if he goes to the long walk. Harry, is a ding-dong battle between him and Paisley Park. Got up on the day, and he's a really nice horse.
Both. I'm so glad that really said after all the rubbish we've had in recent times with field sizes and competitive races being made uncompetitive because of horses being withdrawn. This was a cracker. And John Joe O'Neill Jr., obviously, we spoke to him yesterday, Ash. What an unbelievable ride this was, because he got his timings absolutely spot on, because he didn't throw everything at Champ until the furlong pole, and it might have looked like he was going it, but the furlongs did not suggest that. I think he ran his second to last furlong. From 2 furlongs to the furlong pole, it was about 14 and 14.9 seconds. And the last furlong was 14 seconds. So it was much quicker than the 2 to the 1, which I thought was a bit of masterclass riding, because he had that little bit down the back where he really quickened up. Prashima, the winner at Wetherby, could not even live with him. Paisley Park. The thing that caught my eye, Ash, out of this race was how well Paisley Park travelled. Because
Yes.
he came into the race tanking.
And he always hits that flat spot.
Yeah, and he hit the flat spot at the most perfect time because you knew he had enough time then to catch Champ up, which he did. He caught Champ up, and another couple of yards, and probably won. So, if you have in the clean hurdle, if those two line up again, if you were going Champ or Paisley, who would you have? Because I know who my money would be on.
Mine would be Champ, unfortunately. Talking about the stayers hurdle, I'm scratching my head because I've just logged on to Oddschecker here, checking the prices. He's 20-1, Lee, for the stayers. Champ's 20-1. Paisley is 25. So you've got the likes of Brazil, Monkfish, Allaho, Bollinger, Brandy Love, Home by the Lee. They're all priced at similar prices. And you've got two horses there who've served it up brilliantly in a Grade 2 at Newbury. It's not the price I'm going to be backing, but that seems awfully big for a horse who was second in last year's stayers, I want to say.
No, he was out. He was out. Maybe his fifth or so, was it?
Paisley.
Was it? Oh, that's Paisley. Yeah, Paisley. That's Paisley. Yeah.
Paisley third by about a nose, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tamil, I think. But look, I thought this is racing winning at its best, really. Like Harry says, and I know plenty of people have seen Richard Hoyles posted and mentioned after the race about obviously what racing's kind of going through. There's a lot of struggles in races, and exactly like Harry says, but this was just great. I got the two lads, the horses wrong. I'm saying the old boys. I back Prashima. I thought was could maybe he's improved from this last one. Absolutely tailed off out with the washing. And the two lads, I thought Paisley was going to get him. I wanted him, and I was trying to will him on maybe just because I just think that they're two cracking horses. And yeah, look, absolutely fabulous for racing, really.
Ash might tell you the price what I told Ash to back on course.
What did you tell me?
I told you the forecast, maybe.
Oh yeah, we had messaged. I was running up some stairs, and he said, "Oh, Paisley's a massive price." I went, "Yeah, he is actually." And obviously, the forecast came there. Did either of us do it? No. So it's after timing at its finest. Right, Harry. We'll come back to the Irish stuff. We'll bring in Lee for the Sunday stuff at the end. We'll go for the midweek action. The best horses there that we saw midweek. Harry, I've got a task for you. We're going to go through these in quick time. We're running low on time. So, Lac De Constance won a 2-mile 2 novice chase at Kempton, start of the week. I'll let you go first. Lac De Constance, what do you make of the horse?
Impressive. Jumped like a buck. Dan Skelton couldn't have spoke more high about this horse after. And the only thing I'd be worried about was Samarive clearly didn't perform. I think that fall at Ascot probably took a little bit out of him. But saying that, the Gary Moore horse is no more in behind, and he couldn't live with him. So good performance on the whole. I think it's probably one of the best ones we've seen for a while.
I completely agree with that. Like Samarive may have underperformed there, but he's a 149 rated horse. He's rated fairly highly, that Samarive. Don't quote me on the rating, but they're two good horses in behind, and yeah, he's won that really nicely. I thought he's jumped absolutely perfectly, and that is his distance. It was 2-mile 2 that day. If he goes to 2.5 for these sort of graded novice chases, I think that's his distance because he takes his fences at the right speed. He doesn't check into them. He doesn't try to power through them. He just takes them perfectly, like it's his own stride. And I couldn't be more impressed by this performance. I think he's really good. And he's 25-1 for the Turners, if that interests anyone listening. It certainly interested me, let's put it that way. I thought he was very good. Next horse, Queen's Rock, Harry, won for Nicky Henderson on Tuesday. What do you make of this hurdling performance?
I don't know, Ash, regarding this one, because visually I thought, yes, okay, probably a nice type, but then in behind the horses were trees, so I can't get my head around the fact and say this horse is going to be a wheel beater, because on second look I don't think the horse will be a nice horse. Don't get me wrong, be a nice horse, could be a listed, probably Grade 3, Grade 2, nice horse, but then again you think this maiden hurdle won't turn out to be the greatest maiden hurdle we've ever seen. So who knows?
With that, because it's the syndicate, isn't it?
Yeah. No feelies. Yeah.
And maybe he's thought that about Love Envy when she first started out. So I can definitely see it building on that one.
Yeah, she'll build. I'm just trying to find the price. She's not in the sort of top betting for the Cheltenham Festival race, as I can see on my screen now. I had a similar a point there, Harry. She wasn't the smoothest. She wasn't the most fluent. She wasn't the quickest over her hurdles. She got a little bit high. It wasn't main hurdles, so you can allow her for that. I thought the second was quite eye-catching, a bit more fluent over hurdles there, and looked to be trying very hard at the finish. So I'd be interested by that more than Queen's Rock, but I had no real opinion. Spartan Army won juvenile hurdle on Wednesday for McNeil family. Alan King trains the horse. There you are in the knowledge bank. I thought this was very impressive. Harry coming off the flat, first start over hurdles. I couldn't be more impressed by this performance.
This was my performance of the week. Spartan Army was absolutely spot on its hurdles, and the only two mistakes he made, funnily enough, were the final two flights. And it's a tough ask at Weatherby. It was heavy ground, and I think that's going to be the key. I think this will be the key to this horse, because the way he was galloping looked like he properly wanted the ground. Same with the Gary Moore horse that won at Lingfield. I think it was Javega. That horse was mentioned to be just a mud lover, and they can't train on anything other than the deep sand. Now, I'm not saying Spartan Army is going to be a heavy ground horse, but if you look at it, it's the way he's won that and tanked through the race on ground that was horrible. Heavy ground in the end at Weatherby. I thought it was really impressive, and I think it was down the back, Ash, that really took mine when he jumped up onto the coattails of the leaders, and I thought, wow, like this isn't no mugging behind. And I think it was the horse with Joseph O'Brien.
Won at Down Royal on yielding ground in last start.
Yeah, so clearly no mug as a flat horse, but only a 3-year-old, and we talk about these juveniles, so probably one to catch right now.
Yeah, 40s into 20s for the Triumph. I can't lie, I had some money on at 40s because Alan King told me and a couple of journalists about this horse at Chepstow start of the season. And I think this horse is really nice. He thinks a lot of his juvenile hurdlers this season. We've seen Cheltenham Green. He wasn't even in his top 3. He had like these top 3. Spartan Army was one. A horse called Paradius is another. I can't remember the final one. But yeah, this horse was nice. Did it really well, as Harry said, on heavy ground. To have that turn of foot after the second last on that kind of ground, really impressive. So I couldn't be more impressed by Spartan Army. Mamoon Star beat Time for a Tune on Thursday. I thought this was really nice. Fourth to Encanto Bruno in that Cheltenham bumper earlier in the season. Was very slick over his hurdles. Thought he'd potentially get a fence in time. And to be able to stick to that early pace that Time for a Tune set early on and then quicken up and then pass Time for a Tune was quite impressive for me. So Mamoon Star, I was taken by the 12:40 at Taunton, 2-mile hurdle on good ground. What do you make of it?
Now, I won't mention that specific race, but I will mention a race that has now proved out to be a really, really strong National Hunt Flat race. And that was the one where Time for a Tune and Mamoon Star were down the field in that. They were both 8th and 9th. And in that race, you've got the obviously won the race was Top Dog. Rosie Red Rum was 2nd. Ballyglass was 3rd. That horse has come out for Toby Laws and won since. Authorised Speed, that was my horse to follow. That horse came out and absolutely sunk home. Hullenbach will be winning the maiden hurdle soon. Was 5 lengths to Picar, I want to say, for the Skeltons at Chepstow. And that horse now has just proven to me that that's a strong, very strong race, and might be one to just put in your trackers because, horses are coming out into maiden hurdles and winning easy. So, but I wasn't surprised to see this result, Ash, Mamoon Star and Time for a Tune, because obviously they've met before, and I just thought if everything went right for Mamoon Star, doesn't look the easiest of rides. Don't get me wrong, that could just be Paddy Brennan riding. He doesn't have the easiest on the eye. His action it works, doesn't it? It doesn't often. But it was on good ground. I want to say good ground, and it was 27 slow. So. Don't know.
It was nice. It was nice. It's a lovely performance.
Nice. The pair pulled a mile away as well. So
yeah. Lee, bringing you back in. Sunday racing. Harry's at work, so he was slacking on the work over here. Grangeclare West won over at Navan. Nice performance.
Yes, was a great performance, to be fair. First time up for Willie Mullins. Obviously, had won the bumper, but then first time hurdling, could have done much more, to be fair, and in the Cheveley Park stud colours as well. So could be anything.
547-day break from that bumper when you're saying there, and then onwards to this maiden hurdle. I was really taken by this performance. And we've talked about maiden hurdle wins throughout the video here, and I thought it's probably the most impressive maiden hurdle winner. He's beaten no mug there, firm footings. Harry, you might remember this horse. This is the horse that we backed at the Punchtown Festival, and we met the breeder on the bus on the way back.
Yeah, I actually do remember now. He was absolutely smashed, and he got on to tell us his story, and he was probably the most fascinating Irishman I've ever met, or in Deck Carroll. It was actually, I think I can't. Who did he breed?
Was it Medi? It wasn't Medi Clouds. It was something else. There was some really good horse that before that he's bred, and he gave us this other horse name for another one he's bred that's meant to come out this year. We've both forgotten it, but Firm Footings is no mugging behind anyway. And Grangeclare West has won really nicely there, so I was very impressed by that. Lee, while you're here, I have to bring this up. It's a horse that you said is my horse to follow for this season. American Mike, you're not alone. You're not alone.
Silly man. Silly man.
Racing Josh Stacey is also one of these people who was saying, "Oh, this horse is going to be a world beater," and he was rightly beaten here in a Grade 3 at Navan. What did you assess the performance? It looked too bad to be true.
It was too bad to be true, definitely. Gordon Elliott come out and says that the horse wasn't right in the race, and look, it was just a lay-bad run. I wouldn't read too much into it. To be fair, though, he was high at a lot of his flights, and one of them, like Paul Nickers likes to say, he's a future chaser. Definitely, probably a future chaser. But look, he was ballooning a few, and I watched the race full, and I never would be happy with the run. He kind of lugged in behind a couple of times, and then sprung back out, and I don't know. It was a bad run. I did actually mention the winner the other day on my video, Dawn Rising. Joseph O'Brien's come off a flat. I think was second in the Bahrain Trophy or something for Aidan O'Brien. Look, that was actually behind the Cham Keeley of Willie Mullins, beaten 22 lengths by that horse. But look, I was disappointed with American Mate, but that's not his true running. It'd be a different horse next time out. I wouldn't be backing him, I wouldn't be going in again, but I would just scrap that run, to be fair.
I don't want to kick you while you're down, but I don't know what price you took about the Cheltenham Festival. He's 12. He's 12s for the Bartlett.
It's not much difference, but I wouldn't be going in at 12s again. I just think I would scratch that run, but
lay him.
Harry would lay him. Have 16s of Harry. No, I like it was too bad to be true. We've seen this before. I'd just be concerned. I really would. Like something will come to light in the next couple of days, because that was bad. And if something comes to light, it's not almost a relief off the shoulders, but it's more like okay, he's ran badly because of this, not because they can't find anything. We're still yet to hear about Aplutard and that. So it's one of them. But like, I was never a fan of American Mike. I don't want to be an after-timer. I don't want Chris Paul to come at me on Twitter and call me an after-timer, but I was never a fan of him. I thought his maiden hurdle win was iffy. I thought it was good, but his jumping wasn't the best. Yeah. And he's shown I didn't see the race in full, but I gather his jumping again wasn't very good today, and he's one that wouldn't be going on the list for me. Finally,
Gordon had actually said, like, along the lines of it was like a deflated balloon coming back in. Do you know what I mean? It was. Yeah. There was nothing there at all. So it's definitely too bad to be true. But again, I agree, and I wouldn't be going rushing in to back him at that price.
And finally, we've done a fantastic job to get through all of these horses. Fil Dor won over in Navan. Finally going over a fence. Hooray. Gordon Elliott, thank you very much. It was over 2 miles or 2 mile 1 today. He beat Sam War. Good performance, Lee, for first time over a fence. Travelled nicely throughout the race. Didn't really get many wrong. And he sort of used his stamina to his effect at the finish to win by 4 lengths. It was nice. The Racing Post Novice Chase Grade 1 looks to be on the agenda next. That's over a minimum trip as well. I'd like to see him go up and trip, but I thought today was impressive.
I was impressed today as well. He got into the last and then was able to quicken again and pull away from Sandroy. Look, they were miles clear. I can't remember the third horse, but he had already had chasing experience as well. And look, it was a strong performance. I'm with you though. I would step the horse up. I do think it wants a bit more of a trip, and I would think you'd see the horse through a better effect over the middle distance. But yeah, if that's a target, fair dues. But I'd probably step the horse up. But like I say, it was quick and well to the line after it Sandroy come to it. So yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm almost sure the Racing Post Novice Chase was talked about. 2 Mile 1 at Leopardstown at Christmas. I don't want to tell Gordon Elliott how to train his horses. I never want to do that ever. But like, I just love to see this horse over a distance. I really would like to see him over 2.5. I said this after his Triumph run. Like, he just wants stepping up. In my personal opinion, I think he'll be seen to better effect. He'll be hard to beat in this Racing Post Novice Chase. He will be hard because he gets that 4-year-old allowance over a fence, and it's fantastic to see these young horses go over fences and not spending 10 years in bumpers. By the way, but he'll go with a great chance.
So the two of them, they went quite hard early on as well. I thought they would come back to the field. They still kept on well, and they pulled miles clear the third there. So they went a bit of a clip, to be fair.
Yeah, he's used his stamina well. He's won well. He'd go well at Christmas because of the allowance, but God, I'd love to see him in a Turners or something like that. I really would. When he gets beaten by Lac De Constance, obviously. Now, that is all the horse we got through. I don't think we even have time to go through any massive eye catchers, but we've pretty much covered it. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. And if you did miss any of the video, this will be available on our YouTube channel, Only Fools Love Horses, as a recording. So do smash the like button and subscribe if you did enjoy. Lee will be picking out a winner of the competition this week, coming now. So
Umbrella it is.
Constitution Hill Umbrella. You want to get your hands on that. Harry, was a good weekend. More to come this coming weekend. Tingle Creek, so it should be good. It'll be cracking.
Benidorm this week.
Harry's in Benidorm, so we won't be seeing much of him. We'll be seeing him in a hedge somewhere. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please subscribe and make sure to check out our Tuesday preview video coming this week. Thank you very much and enjoy your week. Ending broadcast. Keep talking.